God's perspective on pride. So how does God see pride? If you are a proud or prideful fellow, come closer. Let's talk about how God sees pride. We should always demonstrate a deep sense of humility in our work with God and in our relationships with all people. When we talk about being humble, we all know what it means. It's a thing to get a job at a very good organization. It's another thing to be able to keep that job. Attitude may be different from your qualification. You may be the most qualified candidate, but if you have a bad attitude, you're so proud, no humility, not a single one in you, you will soon lose the job. He says, this is one of the greatest lessons we can learn from God's words of condemnation through Zephaniah. God hates pride and will ultimately reveal his wrath against arrogance that leads to idolatry. For example, Nineveh was obliterated because of pride. Furthermore, Jerusalem was not exempt from condemnation, and for the same basic reasons, arrogance and a haughty spirit. However, Zephaniah foretold a time when God will bring spiritual renewal to the remnant of Israel, who will be void of arrogant and haughty people. When Jesus shared the Beatitudes with his disciples, he beautifully captured the essence of humility and how it should be reflected in our work with God and in our relationship with others. Perhaps he was reflecting on Zephaniah's prophetic words regarding that day when he would rule and reign on earth. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Okay, this last one, I say, blessed are those who have been persecuted because of righteousness. A lot of people are persecuted this Pastor here at Iboye. And recently I saw a post, which I'm still going to talk about, where he mentioned the age he was going to pass on. And, the man is really happy that he wants to go home and all of that. Imagine, when he lost his son, that was when I knew people are evil. Despite all the bashing, even after he lost his grown-up son, over 40 years old son, people were still in fact, that was when people bashed him the more. That was when I said, okay, at this junction, this is evil. This is no longer cautioning of, you want to correct the people that are wrong in the ministry. Now, this is pure evil. No compassion, nothing. You have seen him as your enemies. So we need to have compassion. We need to be merciful so that we can receive mercy. We need to be nice, be humble. For you people judging, I hope you know that heaven is also judging you. In fact, it is when you judge more, that's when your own sins will be remembered most. So let's be careful. I understand that we are all guilty of judging each other. That's why if I have to report someone that is, let's say I want to report my pastor or I want to report my general overseer, I will not go online. I'll talk to my fellow people, my fellow understanding people, like maybe one of my people that I know that spiritually they are matured enough. And even at that, we will still ask God for forgiveness because that's more like gossip. But sometimes you want to just talk to someone, maybe because something had happened, or let's say a pastor toast me, or a pastor is trying to touch me. I don't want to go online to broadcast that. The reason is because if I do that, people who believe who believe in him, who believe Jesus through him, people who are followers of Christ through him, people who just accepted Jesus through him will be discouraged. So a lot of time when we come outside and bash on pastors, do you ever care about the non-converts? Do you ever care about those newcomers who just join who just join Christ fellowship, who just want to be a child of God, who just repented through the pastor? Do you care? Because if you don't care, you're having problem. You have to care. That's why this bashing is not the right thing. I am not saying do not correct pastors. You can tell everything they do. If coming online is the proper way for you to escape their problem, yes, go ahead and do that, but make sure you tell the truth. Pure truth. Tell the pure truth. If you know that you are also a culprit, please don't bother to come online because you will not want to talk about your own fault. You will only want to talk about pastor. But if it is pastor that is 100% wrong, please tell the pure truth. No addition, no subtraction. Tell the pure truth. And then the role you play as well, you tell. Then if you're doing this for awareness, you let people know. And then you table it. Oh, Pastor Lagbaja, I know the Lord is using you, but this and this you did could actually jeopardize blah 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 blah. And then you'll be ready to back it up if there is need for you to provide proof. But if you cannot do all of these things, if you can't fulfill your righteousness, don't come outside and bash pastors. Anyway, God's perspective on pride, that's what we just talked about. So, not forgetting why I read this passage, we'll talk about how it is said here, blessed are those who okay, remember when Pastor Adeboye was mourning his son? The Bible says, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Trust me, the Lord comforted him. It's not easy to lose a son, a child. Not easy at old age. And that's from what I heard, that is the most humble child he has. That brother they said he was the most gentle, the most humble, the one that is so godly, and he had his own children with his wife. Abba now. You see all these people that offended you. If you don't have compassion on his children, on his wife. I'm talking about the one that died. Would you ever pray that you carry the sins or you suffer for the sins of your own parents? Do you ever pray for that? That your children suffer for your own sins? Let's be careful. Another thing is blessed are those. So the one I really want to emphasize on is the one that says, "Blessed are the humble, for they will inherit the earth." The reason is because you will be peaceful. There will be no trouble. Your life will be more peaceful if you are the one that is humble. You are not looking for trouble. Trouble does not really look for you because you're not walking in the path of trouble. So if you're humble, it saves you of a lot of stress. So I want us to, probably go back to our Bible, Matthew 5:3-10. That's where all of those are written. Go and read them very well, and let's work with that. No one is perfect when it comes to ministry, the things of God. We all are just trying, to walk our salvation with fear and trembling. God bless you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.